West Virginia's NCAA tournament hopes are still alive as they knock off the Cincinnati Bearcats 62-59 in Morgantown Wednesday night. We're going to talk about that game, do a little recap, go over stats, key player performances, and talk about what this means for the Mountaineers moving forward. And we'll do that right now. What is up, and welcome into this episode of Hoops from the Hills. Thank you for tuning into the show. We're here to recap, review, whatever word you want to use, the Cincinnati versus West Virginia contest in college basketball Wednesday night, February 19th. West Virginia, boy, did they almost blow it. They were up by 9 points with 8 seconds left in the game, and they hold on to win by 3 after giving up 2, I'll call them miraculous 3-point shots by Cincinnati. After West Virginia also got a little bit careless with the basketball on inbound passes, they were able to hold on, had a little bit of luck on their side as Cincinnati misses a wide-open three-pointer at the buzzer so that West Virginia can hang on and win the basketball game. But West Virginia did what they needed to do. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter how you get it done. It's if you get it done, and they got it done. So they moved to 16-10 on the season, and they moved to 7-8 in Big 12 conference play. The schedule lines up well for West Virginia to make the Big 12 turn or to make the NCAA tournament. When you look forward, I mean, they obviously have to go to Lubbock, Texas, and face the number 9 ranked Texas Tech Red Raiders here on Saturday. That's going to be a very, very tough matchup for the Mountaineers. I do not expect them to win that game. But they also have games at home against TCU, which they should win. They have road games against Utah and BYU, both of which are winnable. And then they close the season out at home against the UCF Knights, another game they should win. So it's lining up well for West Virginia, who should be able to win enough games down the stretch to get into the big dance. Now, Javon Small looks like he got a little banged up in that game against Cincinnati. Looks like it might be an ankle injury or something like that. Hopefully it's nothing too serious. He was able to play through it, still came down with 16 points on the night, so not bad for a guy who's with a bum lower body injury. I think it was an ankle. Not bad. He showed his toughness and his willingness and ability to do whatever it takes to win and perform. But will that hamper them down the stretch? We will see. Hopefully this couple of days off, he can recover and be ready to go before they travel to Lubbock on Saturday. But let's go ahead and take a look at the stats, and we'll talk as we go through it here. When you look at let's look at the team stats first. West Virginia stats on the right, Cincinnati's on the left because West Virginia was the home team. When you look at field goal shooting, Cincinnati was 25 of 61 for 41%. West Virginia 22 of 55, 40%. So both teams shot the ball fairly well. Three-pointers, Cincinnati 7 of 23, 30.4%. West Virginia 6 of 18, 33%. So not great. West Virginia, normally you like to see them around that 9 or 10 three-pointers made mark. They weren't able to do that in this game, but the key thing was they made them at winning time. When the game was coming down the stretch, they actually trailed at one point in the game in the second half. They were able to make big shots when they needed them. Javon Small made some big ones. Jonathan Powell made some big ones, and Monty Hansberry made some big ones. Free throws. Look at this. West Virginia actually shot more free throws than Cincinnati made. Made more free throws than Cincinnati shot. How many times has that happened this year? Not very much. West Virginia finally had a whistle that went their way for once. They were 12 of 14 from the free throw line. Cincinnati was 2 of 7. West Virginia 85.7%. Cincinnati 28.6%. Cincinnati, you make 4 more free throws, you win the game. Come on. All right, rebounds. West Virginia 40 to 32. West Virginia wins the rebounding battle. That's something else that's pretty rare for this team to do, especially by that wide of a margin. So hats off to him for that. Big tip of the cap to Monty Hansberry, who had 13 of those 40 and a double-double on the night. West Virginia even won the offensive rebounding battle 12 to 10. Assists, West Virginia with 12, Cincinnati with 8. Steals, West Virginia only 2 to Cincinnati's 4. Blocks, West Virginia 2 to Cincinnati's 4. Bandego had a good night protecting the rim down low for the Bearcats. Total turnovers, West Virginia turned it over 10 times. You'd like to see that number get down a little bit. And they only forced 6 Cincinnati turnovers. If you had told me that West Virginia would only force 6 turnovers in this game, I would have, and only shoot 33% from three, I'd have told you they probably lose the game. But where'd they make up for it? Rebounding and free throw shooting. 2 areas they've been struggling with in recent games. Fast break or points off turnovers, West Virginia 8, Cincinnati 11. Fast break points, West Virginia 4, Cincinnati 7. Points in the paint, 30 for West Virginia, 26 for Cincinnati. Fouls, 10 for West Virginia, 15 for Cincinnati. And the largest lead, Cincinnati did lead by as much as 6 in the second half, and West Virginia's largest lead was 9, and that was actually late in the game. So West Virginia holds on. They do what they need to do. Now let's look at some individual stats here. The statistics of this game were really strange. Kind of the opposite of what you would want in a West Virginia win, to be honest, as far as team stats. But the individual stats here is why I think West Virginia won this game. First, let's talk about Cincinnati. Their top performers, obviously, you had 2 13-point scores in Jizzle James and Day Thomas. Jizzle James had been playing really, really good basketball as of late, so to hold him to 13, pretty darn good, actually. Then off the bench, you had Dan Skillings Jr. He's the one who made those 2 threes at the end. He finished the game with 10 points, 2 of 2 from 3 and 4 of 5 from the floor overall. And then you had Aziz Bandago, who pulled down 10 rebounds to go along with 3 block shots. So he had a good night in that regard. Now, for West Virginia, Monty Hansberry is the story of the night. What a game from Monty Hansberry. He had points in the game or moments in the game where he was struggling to make layups. Like early in the game, it looked like Amani was like, man, what are you doing out there, man? Come on, get it together. But late in the game, he made winning plays, man. He drove to the rim and scored up some buckets. He made some big threes, 2 of them to be exact. He was 2 of 4 on the night from 3. Pulled down some huge, huge rebounds when they needed it the most. Amani Hansberry stepped up and played good basketball late when they needed it the most. He was able to help out his teammate Javon Small, take some of the pressure off of him because Cincinnati was definitely keying on him and trying to stop him. Jonathan Powell had a good night shooting the ball. He scored 12 points off 2 of 7 from 3. Not a high percentage, but again, stepped up and made big shots in the second half when they needed him to. He also had a good night rebounding the ball with 9, was 1 rebound away from having 2 players with a double-double. Javon Small did his thing with 16 points to go along with 4 assists and 3 rebounds. Was 2 of 5 from 3 and 4 of 4 from the free throw strike. And then off the bench, you had Joseph Yesufu with 6 points and Eduardo Andre with 3 points. KJ Tender played 11 minutes in the game and did have 1 assist and played some really good defense, I thought, on the night. He was somewhat of a mismatch for Cincinnati because of his size, but I thought the minutes he gave, he played really hard and played well, especially defensively. So kudos to him. And can't forget about Sincere Harris. My man, Sincere Harris, again, played really good on the ball defense, played with great effort, made some great plays, with his defense. That's what he does. He does his damage on the defensive end of the floor. He only had 6 points, but also had 6 rebounds. No steals in this one, but again, did a really good job playing defense against the likes of Jizzle James, holding him to 13 points, which is good. All right. Story of the night, again, just individual performances by Amani Hansberry and Jonathan Powell and Javon Small. Those 3 right there just played really good basketball. It was a great team win. Toby Oconee, did some good things as well. Didn't have a whole lot of stats, but he does good things on the defensive end and is really disruptive with his length. But at the end of the day, it was really the Amani Hansberry show. I was really pleased to see him step up. Let's hope that what Amani did can carry over into the next game against Texas Tech. He's going to have a really, really tough battle down low with JT Toppin with the Red Raiders. Arguably the best player they may see, especially in the front court this year, especially in Big 12 play. So it's going to be a very, very tough matchup for Amani. Will he be up to the task? We will see. Hopefully on the offensive side, he can pull JT Toppin out, keep him out of the lane, and maybe they, allow Javon Small and some of the other guys to drive to the rim, cut to the rim and get shots there that way. Maybe he can knock down a couple threes to keep the Texas Tech defense honest. But I'm telling you, we're going to need Amani Hansberry. He doesn't necessarily have to get a double-double every night, But Amani Hansberry needs to do what he did against Cincinnati for this team to continue to be successful, in my opinion, and have a shot to make any noise in the Big 12 and or NCAA tournament. Amani, continue to play at that level, my guy. I know you're going to try. This team continues to give great effort. They do have to do something about their inbounding. That the way they inbounded the basketball there late was rough. Turned it over 2 different times. Also had to call timeout twice there in that final stretch there in the last few seconds. Just struggled to get the ball in bounds. I'm sure they'll fix it. I trust Coach DeVries and his staff. They're very good coaches. They will come up with a game plan on the inbound passes underneath. But I really liked the intensity the team played with. They did have another scoring drought that lasted about 6 minutes, I think it was, or 5 minutes, something like that. But they overcame it. They overcame it with really good defense, and they overcame it by never giving up, never quitting, and making plays late in the game when they absolutely had to have them. So hats off to the team again. Really pleased with their performance. Really pleased with their effort. And I really think down the stretch here, we're going to really see what this team's made of. And I really feel like if they can win 2 more games, they should get into the NCAA tournament. Especially if they win 3 more games, I feel like they definitely get into the NCAA tournament. So we'll see what happens down the stretch. I want to know what you think in the comment section. Let me know, do you think this team makes it to the big dance? Let me know what you think about this last second stressful win that West Virginia was able to. By the way, for those, I don't know how many of you saw it, but this game appeared on Scott Van Pelt's Bad Beats on his late night show that he does on ESPN, the Scott Van Pelt Show. West Virginia was a 3.5-point favorite in the game. They were up 9 with 8 seconds to go. So if you had your money on West Virginia to cover, you felt really good. Then boom, all of a sudden, within a couple seconds, it's a 3-point basketball game. And you do not win that money. You lose that money. So what a turn of events it was at the end for bettors in that game. That's why Vegas is Vegas, baby. That's why Vegas is Vegas. And as some people like to say, that's why you see all those tall buildings, right? But I feel bad for those folks who picked West Virginia to cover. But for those people who picked Cincinnati and took the points, they're feeling pretty good today. So anyway, but just let me know your thoughts on the game. Also, let me know what you think about the upcoming Texas Tech game. I do have a Texas Tech preview show coming up as well that will air. Hopefully, it will air if things go as planned. I have had some technical difficulties, but we will see. I really appreciate you tuning into the show. Don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe. Thanks for the support. Hope the rest of your day's top shelf and Q Country Roads.